Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range. Hey, it's Shan here. This week's guest is Mr. Ben Watts. Ben is a skateboarder and all-round rad human. We're joined by Mr. Leon Paxton, who's his best mate, and Ben takes us on a journey through his life. He talks about what it's like growing up in a rural area, being one of the only skateboarders in a town, and he shares some amazing experiences about his time on Norfolk Island off the coast of Australia, in which he delved deeply into spearfishing and that lifestyle. And he tells an amazing story about an encounter with a great white shark that he had. And on the same day, it was followed by a near-death experience where he almost drowned spearfishing on the same day. So he effectively had two near-death experiences in the same day. It's a wild story. Obviously, we talk a lot about skateboarding and elements of skate culture and just what it's like being part of a skateboarding community and the bonds that are created over time and the creativity that's nurtured. It's just so much fun. I've got a unique bond with Leon because I was his high school teacher probably about 10 years ago, and it's just so great to spend some time with him and now interact with him as a mate and not just a teacher and student relationship, but now as mates. And yeah, it's good to see such a great young man, that he is. So that was a real treat for me. So enjoy this episode. As always, it's dedicated to my children, Clementine and Otis. And I hope that one day they go back through my back catalogue and listen to these stories that I hear from the amazing people that I get to spend time with on this podcast. So enjoy my episode with Mr. Ben Watts and Leon Paxton. Crush Organics makes the best CBD oils and topicals. Go to crushorganics.com, that's KRUSHORGANICS.com, and use code THT to get that epic 40% discount. It makes a huge difference. I advocate for CBD products because they've done so much for me physically and mentally. So really helps me post-exercise with recovery, and it's also done loads for me in terms of getting me in really good sleep patterns and also reducing feelings of anxiety. So get on crushorganics.com. Indosol Footwear have been a long-time supporter of THT. They make footwear like sandals, flip-flops, slides from repurposed motor vehicle tyres. So tyres that would usually go into landfill, Indosol get them and they process them down and turn them into footwear that looks awesome. They're a B Corp certified company, which is the same company that Patagonia is certified by. And actually Patagonia created that certification. So they do everything fair trade and ethically. They're a rad company, and I'm so stoked to be affiliated with them. So use code THT at indosol.com. That's INDOSOLE.com. Use the code THT, get the 15% discount, support THT, and support conscious consumerism. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks.
Yeah, good to be here, man.
Whoa.
Good on purpose.
Submissive dominant lifestyle.
3, 2, 1. All right, let's do this. Do you believe in Halloween?
To believe in it.
I love Halloween.
Why?
It's just fun. Get to go skate every year.
We do the skate jam, that's why.
Really?
What does Halloween mean, though?
Yeah, you tell me.
I think it's like people respect their dead on Halloween night, and like everyone that has died gets one night to be alive again and roam the earth. Is that right?
I think it's a celebration of the
Something
dark
like
side.
that. Something. Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like the yin and the yang. It's a celebration of the.
Well, they do
Of
the
the
Day of the
Dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
That's on November 1st, the next day. And they celebrate their dead. But that, like, Halloween has been miscommunicated because of that.
Interesting. You know, growing up as a kid, my mum wouldn't let us celebrate it because she said it was too
Scary.
evil. Yeah, because she was a full Christian.
Or you couldn't take candy from strangers.
Yeah, oh, that's legit.
Yeah.
But do you think we need to celebrate the dark side of our world, of our paranormal?
I wouldn't say yes, but it would be unfair not to
No,
if we're celebrating ourselves.
it's like a balance, eh?
Since you said yin and yang, I was like, all right, maybe.
Well, it's the yin and yang. It's like it's the dark and the light together. You have to have one with the other.
Brings up the positivity.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Highlights the positivity.
I think so.
I love your voice.
Yeah. It sounds different.
It sounds good.
Did you get your tonsils out last night?
You just went through puberty last night.
He's so shy. He's so shy and gentle. What did you dress up at the Halloween skate jam?
I was Freddy Krueger,
Yeah, I see that.
but I had a green striped shirt because I couldn't find any red ones.
Okay. What about you, Ben?
I was Chucky.
Oh, really?
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, Chucky from Friday the 13th. No, that's not Friday the 13th. It's like the Chucky series horror movies.
Yeah.
It was just called Chucky, wasn't it?
Just Chucky, yeah. I used to love watching it all the
me.
time.
Middle.
Photo. You look good. Is that a Nike?
Yeah. I just got it from a
Nice.
skate shop.
It's like so bougie.
Nike's got everyone covered.
They have. They don't miss a thing, man. So you know what? I think we need to come clean about something with this podcast. Who wants to say it? Let's be upfront about it. Let's go.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it'd be funny if Leon said it.
Go.
It's
Lee.
pretty funny, this stuff.
What's going on with the podcast right now? Like, let's just put it out there and tell everyone that
We're in
the
Kingpin
goddamn
Skate
truth.
Store.
We're not. I can't lie.
He's a straight up liar, guys. Don't listen to him.
Like pathological.
I'm right here. There's some skateboards behind me. I don't know what you're on about.
And Marlon.
Marlon's here.
Marlon.
He's just quiet tonight.
Feel bad for Marlon. No, I guess I should highlight. Okay, so
We all love Marlon.
if you're listening, I don't know what you're up to right now, but thanks for listening. This is our second go at recording together. We did an awesome episode at Kingpin Skate Shop on Thursday night, and I didn't realise till I got home, but my microphone didn't work the whole time, and you just couldn't hear me, and it basically completely ruins the podcast because I guess I asked the questions.
We just start saying stuff.
Yeah.
Talking out of nowhere.
Like, you guys sounded great, but
Thank you.
so this is like take 2, and I guess in 172 episodes, these things are bound to happen every now and then.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you guys for your time and energy, and you know, visiting me in Wollongong again. I'm so grateful.
Pleasure,
Thanks
mate.
for having us again.
Exactly.
So listen, tell me about your day, Ben. Like, what was your? No, actually, tell me about your life since Thursday night. So today it's Saturday night. What's gone on in those
Wild.
2 days?
I guess after the podcast that we sort of recorded,
We practiced.
we had a 6 session out the front of Kingpin. That was fun.
It was fun.
You were
Yes.
ripping.
Ah,
Liam was on the filming.
Yeah.
We had a little skate. It was good. All the grommies too, getting into it. Drove home, dropped Leon off, then drove to Liverpool, basically, where I live at the moment.
yeah,
And went to bed. I was heaps tired.
it's a big day.
Big day.
Did you get that, like frontside 180, like I guess frontside 180 to over switch crook?
He did.
I did.
Dude,
It a couple of times. Annoyed me.
Did Joey turn up and film that?
No, he got
got the
it
video.
off my Instagram. I said, oh yeah, we were talking, and then I was like, oh yeah, like thanks for waxing the gutter. And I was like, yeah, I sent it to him. He's like, can I repost that? I was like, hell yeah, I'd love you to. Thank
Didn't
you.
even get any filmer props.
No,
Did you
The
film
first
it?
I'm
So it was
hearing
you-
of this.
you
he
filmed
claimed it.
it. He did claim it.
I only sat there for 3 hours filming him. No, it wasn't that long.
Buddy Joey,
I'll be
legend.
honest, but I'll be honest, this is what surprises me about you. I won't lie, like, because we were just having a laid back, fun session on a slappy curb at 9 o'clock at night in the dark. And I was like, I could see you trying it. I was like, oh, that curb's so shit. There's no way he's going to do that. Like, and then when I seen that video, I was like, oh my God, he
did it.
did it. And then Leon filmed it.
Let's
and
not
didn't get any
forget
film.
your tail slide you're doing too. I've seen that.
I was tired.
Don't downplay yourself.
You know, I'll be honest, I did CrossFit in the morning. I've started trying CrossFit.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if you've ever done it.
he will.
It's
intense.
Anyway, it's hard on the legs, and I'm making excuses, but yeah, thanks.
You
Thanks
killed
for
it.
filming that.
Don't
Thank you,
worry.
sir. Thank you. So listen, Ben, I really wanted you on the podcast because and Leon as well, because I've been watching from afar what you guys do. I've seen you guys skate at various places, but I love what you do, in the public sphere, okay, whether it be social media or Leon's YouTube, and I just think you guys are bringing a really positive energy to the Sydney skate scene, so thank you.
That's cool.
So I just want to sort of get into your background a little bit. Like, tell me about your skate history. Like, when did you start and how old were you?
Okay. I started when I was 14. Got into it from a friend that I rode motocross with. So I grew up in a country town, Thelmy, if anyone's heard of it. And basically I just skated with like this one guy who was like a motocross rider and skated randomly. And then I had a couple other school friends join us. It was like 4 of us in the end or something. And we basically just skated that area, which is like a local skate park called Tarmal. We just skate that all day, every day. We were hooked.
So for those that don't know, would you say it's far western Sydney?
Yeah, I would say, southwest. Yeah. Southwest, like if you know the Southern Highlands, I guess that's like the more richer area.
So for those that are overseas, the Southern Highlands is the Southern Highlands of New South Wales, Australia, east coast of Australia.
Correct.
Probably about, an hour and a half from the coastline?
Yeah, about at least an hour for sure. Inland, it's all right. It's really nice. Rural, yeah.
Like skate population there?
0. 1.
Hey, I'm there.
2. You and Piney.
Yeah.
So growing up in a rural area then, like how did you get into it? Like what got you started?
I guess just like meeting the guy I rode motocross with. So I played football for like a small part of my childhood. But then I got like overgrown by all the kids. Like they just grew up too quick for me and like would just crush me at footy. So like I was like, yeah, this is not me. And then I pretty much just picked up skating from this guy. And then we just like, I don't know, something about it. I was just like so hooked on it. And he was just like, yeah, like we'll skate. But then when it's nice, we'll ride bikes. And I was just like, oh, okay. But then I met this other guy who was like pretty hooked on skating. And we just like hit it off from there. And then it was like, just, skate park, date all night.
Did you feel like an outcast?
I would say yes. Coming from the school I came from, definitely. I was like there was just us two, and the teachers like pretty much had never seen a skateboard.
Right.
So like there were stairs there, and as we got better, we were like, we got to hit the stairs, So we like started with the 3 and slowly built up, and there was an 8 stair in the school, which seemed like so crazy to us at the time. And then like I was just like, all right, let's just do it. So we did it, and like, I don't know, back then that just felt insane.
Yeah.
It was cool.
8 stair. That's
But the teacher
big.
took my board.
How old? Oh, why? Why?
Because I ollied the 8 stair.
Like during school time?
Yeah, it was at school.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought
In recess.
Could have been in class, to be honest.
Naughty.
It wasn't like after school vibes.
No, so school was still on. Yeah, the stair was like kind of the back of the school, so you kind of almost could get away with it. But the problem with the teacher's math block was the 8 stair. Yeah. So they like we didn't really think about it. Like we hadn't dealt with security or anything like that. We were just like, oh yeah, we'll just try skate it. We've been skating, we'd treat it like we're just olling off the box at the skate park and do that. And we did it. And then the teacher flipped out and was like, didn't know what to do, so he took our boards and that was it. Had them.
Yeah, it's interesting why teachers flip out at it, and even pedestrians. Like now, Leon just pointed at me then.
Yeah, why do you guys flip out?
So Leon, Leon, just quickly tell whoever's listening to this podcast right now our history, really quick.
So I believe I was 14 when we first met, and you were my PE teacher back in high school. And you seemed to think that you weren't a good teacher, but from my memory, you were the best. You were the best teacher I remember.
Thanks, man.
Cool guy, skateboarded. You were like, I don't know. It was just relatable to us. Like any other teacher we didn't want to listen to, but you were the cool guy.
I need this. Thanks, man. And the reason I want to say it, because like tying into your story, like growing up as a skateboarder, I started skating when I was 11 years old, and that's all I did. And I really relate to what you're saying. I grew up in Nowra, and we felt like outcasts and all that. The same vibe and the same feelings that most skateboarders feel. You know?
Yeah.
But then I became a teacher, and skaters would bring their boards to school, and next thing I'm telling them to get off their skateboards.
Doesn't feel right.
And I'll never forget this one day at the school I currently work at, but this was about 10 years ago. Some kid was trying to ollie the stairs out the front of the school, and it's like a 6 or an 8 stair, you know, and there's people like everywhere. The school buses are there, and like he's really, you know, battling this trick, like fully committing. And then like my boss comes out and he's like, Shannon, tell that skater, because you're a skater, tell him to stop ollieing the stairs. And I had to be like the security guy and go, don't do that. And
So
like,
conflicting, eh?
and he's like telling me, like, dude, you can't stop me, and like everything. I was in the other. I was in
Like,
the
that's
other.
you.
Yeah, like I was in the other position,
Yeah.
like for the first time in my life. Like I don't know how many times I've battled security guards in that situation. Next thing you know, like I had to like stand at the bottom of the steps to stop him, and I'm like, oh, like it was so demoralising.
Yeah.
It was demoralising.
Felt wrong.
Should have just took his board and did it.
Yeah, but I swore after that I'd never do it again. I'm never doing that again, ever.
It's hard. 'Cause
You were just
if
doing
you're
your job too,
yeah,
though.
Exactly. When you're mature enough to understand, like we don't get too crazy about security guards. If they're like good enough people, some of them are assholes, but some of them are like, come on, man, I need you guys to move on because I'm going to get in trouble. It's like, yeah, right, fair enough.
Is that? Well, I was going to ask you, like, how do you deal with security guards? What's your default approach?
I'm a lot more chill. You should ask him this question. I don't know. I'm not good enough to be like, no, I'm not going to listen to you because I'm trying to get my trick. I'm just like, all right, you want me to leave? It's all good. You're doing your job. I can go skate somewhere else.
And you respect that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending how they approach me. Like we've had some really bad security guards that we've had to deal with, and it's a different story, but like respectful ones, we're respectful back to them.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that about Ben, because I can't imagine you confronting a security guard.
He's not like an arsehole confronting, but when he's wired in on trying to do a trick, he doesn't see anything besides landing that trick, and no one's going to stop him.
Animal. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's that word.
We talked about it the other
Animal.
night. We talked about it the other night. Is like it seems like all the like real committed skateboarders who just go for it off the skateboard are the most gentle, kind sort of dudes. Like I was comparing, like, you know, Ben to like Sam Giles and say Ty Jeffrey from Wollongong, like the most mellow, laid back dudes. But once they get on a skateboard, it's like all bets are off, right?
Different person, eh?
It's interesting what you say about the approach. So give me an example of a bad approach. Just get that mic.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've had guards that have come out and been straight away being assholes, like right in our face, aggressive, like telling us, I've already told you. I've had people yell at me and like, I've already told you to get out of here. I'm like, I've just got here. They might associate me with another skater that they've seen. I'm like, I'm not with that group that you might have just kicked out. I just got here. And then they're like right up in my face. I'm like, nah, this isn't happening. Like, I'm not going to be nice or respectful to you at all. And then like we just keep skating or some drama happens. But I've had really nice people that are like, come on, just you guys. A lot of the best guards are like, I finish at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, come back after that. Like I can't let you guys skate because I'm going to get in trouble. But after this time, you can come back and you're sweet. Like, all right, that's perfect. Thank you.
Have you ever had a security guard say to you, like, oh, if you injure yourself, you know...
Oh, we got that all the time.
We're liable.
As kids, we didn't understand that. Like, if you hurt yourself here, you're going to sue us. And we were like 12, 13. Like, what does that mean?
Who's sued?
How do you sue someone?
And that's my next question.
Like, what does that even mean?
That's my next question. Like, do you know any skateboarder that's ever sued for injuring themselves?
Definitely not.
We do it at our own. Like, we know the danger in it. We don't blame anyone if we get hurt.
Skateboarding's really humbling. You're
Yeah.
not there to make money off somebody's business.
Yeah.
And you spend more time falling off and then staying on. Would you say, Ben, that that's taught you a lot about life outside of skateboarding?
Like the constant failing? Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah, for sure.
It's one of those things that, like, you never really... if you're trying a trick for so long and eventually you get there, then you're obviously going to carry that to anything else, whether it be your job or, like your own life, whether it be, like, whatever, relationships. I don't know. I can't read. Maybe I will be able to one day.
Really? You can't read?
No, not really.
Like, are you saying that in a sarcastic way, or?
No, I'm saying in a way that like I can read, but like I just lose my focus so quickly. So like I just give up and just like start making words up, and it's like, yeah, I'm like, oh.
It's like you just guess what the sentence is going to say instead of reading it.
So you sorry, do you mind if I pry a little bit? Like, you can actually understand, comprehend a word. You can and make yourself be able to read. You can understand words.
Yeah, I can understand words.
Is it not just so much the act of reading, but the concentration aspect to it?
Probably the concentration aspect, and maybe like I maybe overwhelm myself. Like I like am a bit too erratic with the thought process. I'm like, I got to read this really quickly. Like me and my partner Joe have been trying to read this book, and like she would like help me read like chapters, and like I never read a book in my life. I'm 32 now, and I never really had the interest, but like we watched this movie, I really liked it, and then we're like, oh, she like was like, let's read the book. I was like, oh, okay. So we got into it, and I was like, I'm actually enjoying it. But I do definitely like sometimes I read it too quickly, and like because she's like looking over my shoulder, making sure like I am focusing, and I'm like, she's like, you've made up a whole sentence, and I'm just like, have I? And I don't even realize I've done it, and it's in and out of my mind.
Wow, I just fact checked you and looked at your girlfriend as you said that. She's like, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Thank you for the fact check. Yeah, okay. I think it's really, thanks for sharing that. I think there'd be a lot of people that relate to it and maybe feel ashamed of that.
Definitely.
Like, is that something you've had to worry about, or?
Oh, I've been embarrassed about that since like, especially going through high school. It was probably my most insecure thing, like English class or anything where like you'd get sort of not like pointed out, but they'll be like, oh, it's your turn to read or whatever. Man, I didn't know what anxiety was, but I was probably having the worst anxiety at that point. Nightmare.
I know, like getting asked by a teacher to read out loud in front of the class.
That's
like,
bad enough as it is.
Yeah. I mean, and I just think it's such a no-no. Like, I wouldn't. I never do it.
Yeah.
Unless there's a kid who's really pissing me off and I want to embarrass him.
Maybe I pissed off every teacher.
That's why they're just targeting you.
I just find that hard to believe. Like, we are talking about your school days a little bit. Do you reflect on your school time with negative or positive emotions?
I would say positive.
Overall?
Overall, yeah.
Why?
Just because I think, like, for a long time I didn't. And I was like, I felt like school might have been a waste of time. But I think also I learnt so much from the people I went to school with. It was not so much like learning at school, but it was more about the people I was around.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good. What about you, Leon? How do you reflect on your school days?
I feel like it was mostly positive. Like, I don't have anything notable that stands out that was negative. But I went to year 12 and feel like I didn't need to. Like, when I left school, I won't know what I didn't learn that didn't help me when I left school, but I don't have anything notable from school that has helped me. Obviously, like basic reading, writing, like people skills of like dealing with everyone.
Health class, PE class.
I was going to say, PE.
Having the coolest teacher. But school, yeah, it wasn't that bad for me. Yeah. Like, I didn't get into much drama.
No.
Like, I'd finish school and go skate. Sometimes I wouldn't go to school and I'd go skate. Probably didn't tell you about all that back then because you were a teacher, but you know what it's like as a kid.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's where on a personal note, I've been so conflicted because I did everything I tell kids not to do. And it reminds me that we're all on our own journey.
Yeah.
And I think making mistakes and doing the wrong thing is actually really important.
You learn from that.
Yeah. If you have the mindset to want to learn from that, if you're not learning from it, well, then that's a problem. But yeah. With you, Leon, I remember quite distinctly, in a school setting, we have groups emerge. You've got your footy players, you've got in the coastal regions, you've got your surfers, and then you've got maybe your drama kids and stuff like that, and emos. And you were obviously in the skater group.
I feel like I was lucky in that sense because I was like Jesse and Sean and a few of the other boys the year above me. There was already like a skate group at my school when I started. So they were all in the year above me, so they had gone through it and done it all already. So when I started, I just kind of fit into that like group.
Gotcha.
So I didn't have to, like, I wasn't an outcast. I didn't have to, like, I didn't get teased for being a skateboarder because they had already been there and they've done that. and I can't just join their group. So it was easy for me in that sense.
Yeah. And I guess...
And then I had you,
Thank you, bro.
the skater teacher.
It's funny, I wasn't skating that much back then. I was still skating, but not that regularly. I was going through a phase of just maybe not, I don't know, you sort of drift in and out every now and then.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, like, now, years later, like, you've probably been out of school close to 10 years or more.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, so, like...
About, yeah. Jeez. Thanks for making me feel old.
Yeah, it's all right. You don't look old. You just look bigger. Like, but I was going to say, like, how important is it for you now to have that same social circle?
I didn't know at the time, but like the skate community is amazing. I've got like all of those friends. I still talk to Jesse and Sean, and I met them when I was like 12. I met Wattsy when I was 14, and like we've always been in touch ever since. Like through skateboarding, I've met probably all of my friends that I have today. Like I can't think of many. I don't hang out. I've got a lot of school friends still, but I hang out with my skate friends a lot more because I'm skating and like going out and doing stuff too. And that's like 20, like Mars was talking to me, one of my other friends, Mars, he said that I'm the longest friend that he's ever had. And we met when I was like 12 and he was 10. And we're still like heaps good friends today.
Amazing, man.
And
How
it's all
special
from
is that?
skateboarding, yeah.
It's all from skateboarding?
Yeah.
So amazing, man. Do you, oh, did you hear that noise? It was like a, no, do you find that the bonds that you've developed are extra strong because maybe you were a little bit outcast when you were teenagers?
It might have been, yeah, so everyone had like a common cause to come together.
Yeah.
Because skateboarders are so different to each other. Like our little skate group that we have, everyone is so different to each other, but we all come together perfectly. Like we all dress differently, we all have different like music tastes, we're all different ages, but it doesn't matter. Like we connect so well because of like skateboarding community.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain to people that don't skate, but it's just like such a magnet that brings everyone together.
Yeah, it does. Regardless of...
Like last night at the Halloween skate jam, there was so many different people. Everyone was riding a skateboard, but every human was such a different person to each other.
In what way?
Like people are from different backgrounds, different ages, different ethnicities, everything. People were at different skate levels too, and it didn't matter. Like everyone was in one group.
Was there many girls?
There was a few girls, not as many as last year, but girls are coming up a lot more. There's a lot more skaters these days, like girl skaters.
But I mean, Ben, do you feel like skateboarding is inclusive of everybody, or do you think it can still be exclusive? Is that a tough question?
It's a pretty tough question, but I think overall, I think it's definitely like exclusive. Wait,
inclusive, as in like it includes everyone regardless of their background.
Yes, correct.
Even homosexual people.
Yep. I don't think it matters if you got a skateboard as common connection. So it's like, I don't know really how to. It was like we all love drinking water.
Yeah.
True.
Our skateboard is our water. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bad example, but
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't matter what you're into at all. If you're a skater, no matter if you're the best skater, you know, you can do the best trick, but then someone else who's learning to drop in, they do it.
Yeah.
That's like you doing your best trick, so it's like everyone's hyped on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like there's no like, oh yeah, it's just a drop in. It's like, nah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And because you know what they're going through, you know the feeling because you've had the feeling, so you're like, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah, I agree. As long as like they're having a go.
Yep.
Yeah, like skaters are going to cheer them on, right?
100%.
I do.
Putting in the effort.
There's almost like no other sport like it in terms of that, wanting just to bond like that. I don't know. I mean, I surf a lot, and I talk about this a lot on here, and it's definitely not the same in the surf. It's like everyone's in direct competition all the time. It feels like so.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I guess I just wanted to ask you a question about the homosexual aspect of it, because really there was so much homophobia in skateboarding when I grew up, and like the terminology that we would use if something was bad was really linked to like you know homophobic narrative, and I'm wondering if that has changed in skateboarding, because like I guess homosexuality shouldn't be an issue, but I wonder if I just in skateboarding, it's not very noticeable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I actually have a personal experience with this. So I have a friend that he actually came to my school probably I would have been in year 9. He was in the same year, and he was like well educated. And for a long time, I didn't know he was homosexual. And he skated, so like I had the common connection with him, and he moved to Tamil, which is like right near my hometown as well. So like we started skating. He taught me a couple of things. He was like a bit better than me and stuff, and he was just like, oh yeah, try this. And like we started like skating. It was really cool. And then he moved back to Sydney, or he moved to Sydney. I can't quite remember. And I was like, oh, what a bummer! Like, I lost my friend or whatever. And then later on, I saw him, and he at this point he'd like sort of came out and was just like, yeah, like he was proud of being gay. And I was like, I never knew, and I actually didn't even like acknowledge the fact that he had come out with it. I was just like, hey man, like how you been? Like, but like he was being backed by like all the really cool Sydney people in Sydney.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, he's like almost like cooler now because he was gay.
Okay.
Weirdly enough,
Interesting.
Yeah, and he just like I don't know if it was just because his confidence grew more. So I don't think it's like ever been an issue for me, because I just saw him as a skater, and I was just like, yeah, sick skate. Like, and I don't know, like, because when I did find out, I just didn't see it any different. I still loved him, and I was just like, dude, you rule, like, and yeah.
It's cool. I feel like there is a lot more acceptance, even acceptance of style. Like, so it's like, it can be like you can wear what you want, you can skate any kind of terrain you want, and it's like less categorizing. It's like, again, when I reflect on the 90s when I used to really skate a lot, it was like you're either a vert guy or a street guy, and you're either like fresh or hesh, you know what I mean? And now it's like it doesn't really matter. You just do what you feel, and everyone accepts that. It's great.
Yes.
It's cool. We went off on a bit of tangent there, sorry.
It's all right.
Good to talk about.
It is, yeah. But I was going to ask you, let's go back to your life. I know on our last podcast we talked a lot about, which sounds so weird to say, but this already feels like a completely different podcast, like the stuff we're talking about, don't you reckon? But your time, you talk about a time that you went to a really beautiful part of our country called Norfolk Island.
Correct.
So can you describe that experience?
Yeah. So basically I ended up moving to Norfolk Island when I was 22.
Yeah.
And it's a really small place off the coast of Byron Bay, east coast of Australia, in between New Zealand and Australia, basically, almost the centre. And it's like a subtropical place. So like I was already drawn to it from holidaying there, and like it was just like such a good coastline. So I already had a love for the ocean through spearfishing, and I like did my research and like found out that like there was a really good like reef structure. Everything there like kind of lined up with like what I didn't know I was looking for, but like I was like, all right, let's go there and suss it out. So I pretty much just like took a leap of faith and moved straight there, and I was like, go with the flow and see where this takes me.
And?
And I don't know.
Well, like...
What do you want to know specifically?
Well, firstly I want to know, like, firstly, like, you said it was a nice place to go and you wanted to just experience it, but was there anything happening in your life prior to that was really prompting it? Were you in a...
Yeah, so basically, I'd say, like, the main reason for moving was basically bad... more, like, without saying bad people I was hanging around with, but like maybe some people that were doing some bad things like graffiti, taking drugs and drinking. So my main love was always skateboarding, and I found myself hanging out with some like more badder people that like wasn't really me, but I would just go along with the flow and just started doing what they were doing, and ended up being like, oh, like I'm kind of going down a really bad path, and I could just see myself eventually derailing. So like this opportunity popped up, and I was just like, this is like a crossroad, and it's like, which way do I go? And I chose the right way.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's like almost like you felt like you needed a reset or just to remove yourself from a negative situation to get a different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
More culture.
Yeah. And so when you got there, like, describe the actual environment of the place.
So I'd say it's like, so subtropical, mostly very high humidity. Not so much like your super, like Bali and stuff like that. Not so much hot like that, but like it doesn't like blow. Like in winter, for instance, it would be like 17 degrees, and then in summer it'd be like high 20s. I mean, it could change by now, being like, changed around a bit. But when I was there, that was sort of the most common like temperatures, and like the ocean was always like pretty predictable in my eyes, I would say. You could always pick your lines, and also like being an island, you had the option of 360 degrees. Right. So no matter what, like we would go diving, even if there was a cyclone on one side of the island, you could find glass on the other side.
Oh, wow.
Really unnatural.
Yeah. That's
super cool though.
Yeah. And tell us about your spearfishing adventures. So, like, you're an avid spear fisherman when you were there. Do you still do spearfishing?
I don't do it anymore, I would say. Like, I still have so much love for it and respect for it in the sense of, like, it's my way of getting fish. Basically, I met a guy there who was, like, just sort of gotten into it, and he was diving alone, which is, like, a huge no-no in the spearfishing world. But, like, he didn't have an option, I guess, like, and we all do things that, like, risk our lives. And he, like, didn't convince me, but, like, he got me out there, and, like, it's really deep water compared to what I was used to straight off the bat. Like the most deepest water I'd been in at that point was like 14 meters, like maybe at the most. Right. But off there, it was like you're straight into 14 meters, and it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper till you're like...
So creepy, eh?
It is creepy, but like I kind of loved it too.
Really?
Yeah, like that feeling.
Do you feel vulnerable?
Yeah, you feel vulnerable, definitely. Yeah. But I think that's like the humbling side to spearfishing. You are just... out there, and there's like everything's in the water with you.
Wow.
Nope.
not for you, Leon.
No way.
Yeah. And so you over time you become more comfortable in that situation, don't you?
Yeah, you definitely get more comfortable. You come across sharks, and you slowly build the like understanding of like how they react in the certain scenarios of like, you spear a fish, we'd bleed our fish and gut our fish in the water and use that to belly up other fish. And you would see the sharks, like, once you got the fish tamed in your hand, like, the shark basically switches off and it's not interested anymore.
Whoa. So, hang on, I've never heard that before. So, wait up. So, because that's one of the creepiest things about spearfishing to me is that you spear a fish, it bleeds, automatically will attract sharks.
Correct.
So, you're in the water, you've speared a fish, you reel the fish in, you get your knife out, you start gutting it there in the water.
Yes.
While you're just floating there.
Yeah, so basically you like do a thing called an icky, which is like the quickest way to kill the fish in the most humane way.
Let's describe that.
So it's like...
You break its neck, don't you?
No. So like between the eyes... So the top of the head, between the two eyes, there's like a sweet spot where you can like just like... We have a dive knife specifically for this. And you like... It's called spiking it. And you spike it and basically it just like... Yeah, it dies. And like... You have to kind of like understand that like you're doing it a favor because you've speared it and it's already in pain. So like if you haven't got a kill shot and it's going around, it's already attracting so many sharks from that. So the first thing you want to do is...
Is that because it gives off...
Vibrations.
Gives off those like, I'm vulnerable vibrations.
Correct, yes.
So it brings in all the vultures.
Everything comes in. And they would be already there. Like they literally know what we're up to. They learn off us. For sure, like they would just follow us.
The sharks?
Yeah, definitely.
Jeez.
Keep going. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, so basically we'd just like cut them, bleed them straight away. Also keeps the meat the best.
So once you do that, you said then all of a sudden the sharks don't care.
Yeah, basically, like they kind of switch off after you've got it in your hands. Like I've had them between my legs. Like this is a shark come up between my legs, and like I've just like, because I've got my knife out, you just like give them a little poke as best you like, as gently as you can, kind of like, or push them away. Like I push them away with my hands, like, and you can tell that they're just trying to get the fish.
Yeah.
But as soon as the fish stops kicking, you've like you've got it to a point where it's like dead.
Right.
They just like they're not really interested in it anymore. So like you just drop the guts down and then like if they're interested, they'll eat that. Most of the time they'll try it, or the fish will get it.
I wonder if it's because like it switches off their hunting mechanism. It's like, oh, that doesn't need to be hunted anymore. It's already been. It's kind of like, well, fair play. He out hunted me.
Exactly. That's how I saw it. It was like, and it's the same as like another shark gets the fish. Unless they like get that whole fish down in one hit, like the other sharks will battle it until that one shark wins over the fish. Wow. And then all the other sharks are like, oh, we missed out. It's like a seagull going for a chip.
Is that the sort of vibe you got over time?
Yeah.
Even though that seagull can rip your legs off?
Yeah, I guess so. I never really thought about them like biting me though. I had love for them. So it never really like occurred to me to be like worried they were there to get me.
Yeah.
Would they feel that? Like if
Definitely.
you were scared, would the shark sense that?
Good question. They definitely sense fear, I reckon.
Jeez. So you got to stay calm anyway.
Yeah, it depends on the moment. So like the more calm you are, the more less interested they are.
Yeah.
They treat you as if you're just there hunting as much as they're there hunting. So like if you're erratic, you look like you're the prey.
True.
Yeah, I heard once that you should swim at sharks.
Correct.
And they
hate eye contact.
They hate it.
Yeah.
So do I.
Mm-hmm.
With anyone. I heard that, just
making eye contact.
I thought you meant with sharks. I don't want to look a shark in the eye.
Don't look at me. Yeah, no, because prey swims away, they say.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Good to know.
It is good to know, and it feels like you've gained some knowledge there. You know, there's so much shark hysteria in the mainstream media, but someone who has... And I know a lot of my other friends that spearfish, they say similar things. Someone that has actually interacted in their natural environment on a regular basis. What would be your summary of sharks now? What's your opinion on them?
I think overall, I think they're just there not to get us at all. I would say the media's playing everybody in the sense of like, if they're saying like, oh, this shark was out to get that person, they're totally wrong. 100% I'd back sharks over like somebody who's never really been in the water and experienced it.
Yeah. Well, why do they bite people sometimes?
I would say,
in your opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think most of the time you got to think about like the circumstances. Somebody's on a surfboard. It's going to be pretty common that they mistakenly hit that person for whatever reason of what they might have thought you were. And also like, I think a lot of the bites can sometimes be mistakes. Especially in spearfishing, I have some friends that have been bitten in scenarios, and I've definitely come close to being bitten a few times.
Right.
And it's usually, you've got a fish in your hand, and they've come in to grab that fish, but without the fish, they've never come in to try and grab me.
Right.
So I've just done the math, and it's just like, well, if I don't got a fish, why are they not coming?
Well, in Norfolk Island, what were the main types of sharks you were seeing over there?
Mostly like Galapagos whalers, which would be like a pretty friendly shark in my opinion, not too deadly. Got a lot of tiger sharks though, a lot of great whites. Come in the seasons.
And you've seen great whites?
I've seen probably a good like 10, 15.
Wow.
Which is like, doesn't sound like many, but for people that have been in the ocean their whole life, never seen one.
Wow.
I've had 15 come at me.
That does sound like many.
It does. Yeah, it's crazy. Some people have never seen one, and you've seen that many.
And it's crazy because I've had people come over there and they've been spearfishing and trying to find them, and I'm like, oh, it's so weird because they always show up for me, and I've never gone looking for them, but they've always turned up. I'm just like, am I like, what do I look like to them?
A shark whisperer.
Maybe.
But here's an observation. Like, I just feel like you've got a real calming energy about you. I know I don't want to sound too woo-woo here, but I just really feel that you've got this real peaceful, calm energy, and I don't know, man, maybe they're attracted to that.
It could be possible. One of the funniest things was, so my mate that I spearfish with there, he was a really good diver. Like, he's obviously taught me everything I knew in the sense of like, to where it got me. But the one thing he was really bad at was getting the fish close to him, because he was so erratic. He was like too excitable. He'd see the fish and like charge it and like, yeah. And we used to always joke because I'd always get the biggest fish on the day, because I was so chill, so calm, and they would just like come right up to me. I'd be like, okay, this one will do.
Right. Gotcha. Because, yeah, like you're a good hunter. Like that's maybe good hunting. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he would be able to like dive deeper, but like that didn't matter because I could get them off the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. How interesting. It's a strategy. It's such an art to hunting. I mean, I have spearfished and tried it out, and maybe I need to do more of it, but it just wasn't quite for me, man.
You got to be very relaxed.
Yeah, and I think I tend towards more your friends type of personality, where I'm a bit more like erratic, and I want things to happen right now and make it happen and stuff like that. So, yeah, man. Tell us about your craziest shark encounter, though, like your nearest
The nearest.
a near miss.
The near miss. Yeah, so it was with a great white. So this one was really scary for me, and we do this type of diving called drift diving for a particular type of fish called wahoo, and they're in the season. So like the great whites follow the whales, and the wahoo follow sort of all the bait. Sort of it all comes in one, like it's big one thing, right? So we do all this diving. Sort of in the back of my mind, I always knew great whites were around at the same time, but we always were distracted by like focusing on the ocean in the moments. And we did this drift dive that I'd been doing like for probably 3 or 4 years. Like this one particular dive, know it like so well. Thought I knew it so well. And yeah, so my mate got in the water, and then I was getting all my gear ready. And like the boat's drifting, so the drift lines are really quick, like the tides. And I just got like caught up or something. I can't quite remember what took me so long to get into the water, but I ended up jumping in, and pretty much straight away I realized I was in the wrong tide line. And to paint a picture, that's like two rocks, like a small island and a smaller rock beside each other. And the idea is to go between the two into like this deep channel, which a lot of the fish like are sitting up there eating all the bait and waiting. So I started the drift, and then I realized that I was going to not make between the two. So I ended up just drifting along the south side of the rock basically. And my idea was like, I'll cut back in and get behind this rock and be in the right tide line so I don't get like sucked way out. And I started drifting, and like the visibility is like good, like 30, 40 meters sometimes. And it was really good that day. And like I was drifting up to the rock, and like I fully remember this moment where I was like, oh my God, that's a great white. And I was just like, it was just sitting there, like it looked so calm and like relaxed. And any great white I ever experienced would come up behind me and like approach me. This is the first time I'd ever approached one. And like, I was like, oh, it should be all good. Like, didn't really think about it, just sort of had to do what I had to do because like my drift was going that direction. So I was drifting pretty quickly, and before I knew it, I was basically over the top of the shark, and it was massive. Like, I was like, oh man, like it's really big. And suddenly like my shadow must have cast over the top of it or something happened, but it just like fully turned and like came straight at me because like it wasn't facing me at all. And I threw my shadow over it, and it like flipped out, and like it's like a big fish, and it just came straight at me with like full aggression, like fins down. Wow. In like a defense mode, which like, you know, it's like if somebody frightens us, we do the exact same thing. Like we jump and we freak out and we're like, don't do that. Like, and that's what it did to me. And like, it like frightened me so much because it came like less than a meter away from me.
Wow.
And it was like full in my face. I put my gun out in front of me and basically just like held my ground as best I could. Prevented myself from poking it because I feel like poking them can provoke them as well. This is like a common thing I learned from smaller sharks, like try not to poke them because they'd get snappy. Mm-hmm. And I would just held my ground there, and it did a sharp turn again because it just like it's seen that my defense was sort of too good, and they're an apex predator, so they don't want to get hurt.
You're an apex predator.
Yeah, like that's what they realize, I guess. And it went down deep, and like this is deep water, so it went right down to the point where I couldn't see it. And it flipped back around, and it just comes straight up at me. And like, I was like, I don't really remember like this moment. Like I just remember just holding my gun in front of me, being like, like, yeah, fuck. Basically, I don't even know. Like, pretty sure I
too
shut my
calm.
wetsuit. But like, yeah, like it came straight up, and then like this mad wave hit the side of the rock and just whited everything out.
Yeah.
And like at that point, like I was so like I don't know, like I didn't even know like what I was feeling at that point. I was so like blacked out, I guess.
Really?
But then I found like this rope line that like was beside me, which I knew was not mine, and I grabbed it and I started pulling it, and before I knew it, like I was beside the boat. And what had happened is that another guy that we'd taken out with us who had, like, he wasn't not experienced, but he hadn't done as much diving as us. He'd gotten in right behind me, not realizing that I was in the wrong line, and just followed me. And he never knew the great white was there, but he panicked because he didn't know where we were. So he put his gun up for the boat, and the boat came and grabbed him. And at that point, the boat was next to me. So I just like got in the boat so quickly, and I was like shaking, and I was just like, we need to go get Jamie because there's a massive great white somewhere here, and like it's pretty pissed off. So we shot over, and like Jamie's just chilling. He was just like, he was in the right spot. He's just like hunting, and I was just like, get out of the water. And he's just like, what? He's like, it's so good. And I was just like, mate, like there's a massive white pointer, and it's like not in a good like mood. And then he kind of just was like, oh shit, okay. And like he could tell that I was like really rattled. So he come over the boat, and like he's older than me, and like he's like I would say he'd be my mentor, if anything. Taught me so much in like within life. And he got in the boat, and he's just like looking at me. He's like, what do you mean? He's like kind of pissed at me, like I'd fucked up. And he was just like, you got in too late. And I was just like, mate, like there's a white there, like, and if I didn't get in late, we wouldn't know. So like we just had like this brother on brother fight on the boat, and then we were just like, all right, and we all calmed down. He's just like, are you okay? And I'm just like, I was like, I'm pretty scared, but like, yeah, I'm okay. He's like, do you want to go in? I was just like, nah, let's just like go around the other side of the island and dive somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
So we're like, fuck it. All right. So like, yeah, we like got in the boat and packed up everything and like shot off around to the other side, and like we're like, all right, well, surely it's far enough away now. So like, you know, greats don't like travel around looking when they're like at that time of the day. Like they're chilling. Their hunting is, dusk or dawn or whatever. And we just decided that was a good idea. So we went around there and like hung out there. But the one thing I didn't really take on mine was like my like body, and like I was usually so aware of how I was feeling when I was out diving, and I was just totally not aware of this moment. But like we got in and we started diving, and like probably a half an hour, 40 minutes to an hour went by, and I was like, still thought I was fine. And like I was just diving with my mate, and like I'd done a couple of little dives. Like at this point we're only diving to 15 meters, which is like all you need for these type of fish. But just like did this one dive, and I went down to what's called a flasher, which is something that we use to attract them. It's like lures, like that where they troll. And I dived down, and I like got down there, and I was like, I thought it was fine, and like sort of hung around at the bottom, and basically I like decided there's nothing here. So I started making my approach back to the top. And as I come up, like wahoo, the best way to approach them sometimes is from below, because they're very surface fish. But I seen them in the distance. Because the visibility is so good, I didn't realize they were really far away. So I just started to make my approach like more angled instead of like straight up and down. So what was a 15-meter dive, which is 15 meters down, 15 meters up, which is a 30-meter dive, and when you think about it, which is shallow for me. Like I could do that really easily. But then when I angled my dive, it became like a lot longer, which I wasn't really prepared for, basically. And because my heart rate was so erratic, I hadn't even focused at all on this whole dive. I just like was just holding my breath as if I was just like, like a beginner again, basically. Not thinking, not like making like the right choices of checking depth, like anything. And like slowly made this approach like, I've got this fish in the bag for sure. Like, you know, we haven't got a fish yet. I've got this one. So I started coming up, and I thought I started to get into range. So I reached out, and like I had like a pretty big open water gun in my hand at this point, like for these type of fish. So I had a lot of power, and like I reached out, and then I like kind of decided like maybe this is like a bad shot, and like I don't want to like injure this fish and have it injured and then we don't get it and it just dies. Like, I'm always aware of things like that. You make the right choice. So like I decided no. And I like lowered my hand down and then like, so like it was all caught on GoPro. And this is the stuff I don't remember, but like when I lowered my hand down, I like had a body spasm. So all my muscles just like basically just had like a little fit underwater. And because my hand was on the gun, on the trigger of the gun, my gun fired. And straight away, like my buddy was watching me the whole time. So Jamie was like, well, that's really out of like Ben's nature or whatever. So he was like already like, that's sus. So he like started making his way to me. And I basically just was about probably like 5 meters from the surface, 4 or 5 meters. And like, so what it's called? It's called a samba, which is like where your body spasm, basically lose all the blood from your brain and you pass out. So like, it's called a shallow water blackout.
As you were rising to the surface?
As I was rising to the surface.
Like the bends?
Not like the bends. So the bends is from scuba diving, but like from free diving, like it's like a lack of oxygen. So you're suffocating, dry suffocation. So like whenever you spearfish, the first thing when you drop is you take your snorkel out of your mouth. So if anything like this happens, the first thing that happens is when you fall at depth, the pressure of the water shuts your jaw. So you can't take in water when you pass out. That's the purpose. People don't understand, like, this is why freedivers take the snorkel out. So, because water in your lungs is like the worst case, you know what I mean? And I'd done all that. And then, like basically I blacked out and...
Sorry, just to clarify, as you were right near the surface?
As I was right near the surface.
So what, a metre from the top or something?
I would say, probably between 3 to 2 to 1 metre, somewhere around there, And, we wear weight belts, so, like, that's to get us down deep. So it's, like, a belt with weights on it, basically. So, like, you use less energy to get down. And the belt was, like, sinking me. So, like, I started to sink. I was blacked out. So I was knocked out underwater. And, like, without it being too technical, I was just, like, sinking. And Jamie was already onto this. Like, he'd seen it all unravel and and fucking hats off to him, man, because I definitely wouldn't be here because we were in something like 60 meters of water and I was going down and he came like straight over and he like dove straight down. He grabbed me and like we'd literally just done some training on this because we always were like, oh yeah, it happens. Like we did, we like to research it. Like being a skater, I like to know what is the safety. And it was just like we did some practice in the like shallow water and where you like bring each other back to the surface. And he did it. And like I was out like the whole time, didn't even know what was happening. But you can see it all on the GoPro. It was actually fucking heartbreaking. And he got me to the surface, removed my mask, and the boat came over. They got me into the boat, and then like basically I just like was coughing and like couldn't get my breath, and like I came to, and like I didn't even know, like I'd fully forgotten the dive. I didn't I guess I was just so overwhelmed with like everything that was happening. I just like was like, oh, what am I doing on the boat? Like, and they were like trying to give me water, and then Jamie was just like, you've had a blackout, and I was just like, really? And I just didn't even realize.
Okay, I'm tripping a little bit. So, did you post that online recently? Because I literally just watched the exact same type of video. This surfer from Sydney, who's going to be on the podcast soon, Josh Koo, actually posted a clip of the exact same thing happening.
Really? That's bizarre.
I'm like, I just watched this. I'm like, was that you?
I don't think so.
And the same thing, he blacked out like just below the surface.
Yeah. Common?
Some guy gets it, and then when you came to, when this guy came to, he started trying to fight everyone. Going, you fucking get off me, you dickheads! And they're like, chill, it's okay.
Yeah. So
Did you do that?
No. So I didn't do that. Like I came to and like I was quite relaxed, but I was more just confused. Like I wasn't like aggressive. I was just like, I was a bit like in denial that it had happened. If anything, I was just like, I didn't remember that happening. I was just like, but then when I thought about it, I was just like, wait a second, like I don't remember.
So was this the same day you had the shark encounter?
Yeah, probably an hour after.
What the fuck?
It was a bad day.
What a day.
Bad day.
Jesus.
So
Shout out to Jamie for pulling you up.
yeah, shout out Jamie wherever you are. Thank you. But like, you don't remember blacking out.
No,
So you were like, you could have died pretty easy.
very easy.
But it's almost like you had 2 near-death experiences in one day.
Yeah,
So true.
such a sign.
So like with the shark, going back to the shark encounter, did
Yeah.
you have any moments or thoughts that went, I think I'm going to die?
I think I did, but I just sort of didn't acknowledge it. I think when the water all washed out, I kind of realised like, oh, it's about to hit me.
So do you think maybe the shock and adrenaline from that first incident contributed to the second incident? Like you could have probably held your breath longer, but you'd already chewed up a lot of, you had maybe too much adrenaline in you.
I reckon I would have been just overflushed with adrenaline and like the whole like erraticness of like what I usually would dive with. Like usually I'd be pretty calm, relaxed, and like try and keep that adrenaline away, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like adrenaline's kind of bad with diving in a way. It's like it's a thrill still because once you spear a fish and like especially like yellowfin and stuff like that, you get a mad adrenaline rush. But like when you chase him, you're trying to be as calm as possible. So like when you do see them, you kind of try and not look at them, if that makes sense. Like try and keep your mind away from them, but try and approach them.
Do you ever think about how you're going to die one day?
Not really, but like, no, never really think about it. Not, I mean, do you mean like dying from a shark?
Yeah, like I'll be honest. Like
Or just-
sometimes I think because we're all going to die.
Yes.
Sometimes I think like I wonder how I'm going to.
Yeah.
I wonder how I'm going to die.
I've definitely probably had the thought, but not like acknowledged it enough to like think on it too long.
But then I think like, how do I want to die?
Yeah, that would probably be more like like that's definitely more a thought process for a lot of people.
How would you want to die?
How would I want to die? I don't know, hit by a bus from on my skateboard.
Guns blazing. Going out doing
I've been
what you
hit by
love.
2 cars. No bus yet.
I've seen one of them in King's Cross.
Yeah, it's King's
Is that one of
Cross.
them?
You got 9 lives.
I'm a
You're
cat.
running out there. You're running out.
That's why I love cats, mate.
Jesus.
What happened in King's Cross?
Oh, that one wasn't even that bad
Yeah,
in
that
my
was
opinion.
chill.
Were you skating or drinking?
No, I was skating. So I was like skating this spot in King's Cross, like everyone kind of know it, below the Coke sign in Sydney. There's
That
like
long
this
ledge.
downhill ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
I know
like filmed a trick. Just
where the double set is?
yeah,
Near where the
across the
double
road.
set is?
Yeah, across the
that's
block.
one.
I know
Yeah.
the one.
So I like just landed a trick and like I was just rolling away and there's like a little laneway there. There's a pedestrian crossing there, but I was going pretty quick and this car was also going pretty quick through the laneway and it was like maybe a Jeep or something. It was like a pretty high car. And he came out as I went across the pedestrian and I connected with his like where his tire would be, the bumper, and I just went straight over it. But my first mindset was like my board shot straight across the road and I just like flipped, like I rolled across his bonnet and just landed back on my feet and like I just kept
He's a cat.
and I literally just like pinned it out to the road, which was like such a dumb move because like that road's even way more busier. And
like
I just
4
like,
lanes
yeah,
as well.
like I was just tunnel vision. I saw my board and I was like, shit, it's going so far down the road. I better get it. Sprinted out and grabbed it. Then I was over there and I was just like, all these cars were going. I was like, oh my God, how do I get across here? How do I get back?
Did you see it, Leon?
I seen the end of it where he flipped off the front of the car and landed on his
car
feet. I was
drove
like,
off.
what the hell?
Did he even stop?
And you were like, hey, it's a crossing, man.
No,
he was
he
just like,
drove off,
Yeah,
and
he
it
took
probably
off.
because I just took off, and then but he got to the top of the lights, and like he was obviously
Oh, yeah,
freaked
he was
out
at the lights. And you were like,
everybody
"Hey."
was at the top of the lights, and they were just abusing him.
We had a big crew.
yeah.
Well, he couldn't run very far. He had
Yeah,
a
he got a red light. So everyone was just like off him, and he just like just stared straight. I think.
Yeah, that'd be scary. Just skaters. 'cause
It just shows, like, in that scenario, we were just like, hey, you're an asshole. This is a crossing. And then we just let him go. Like, it was so casual as skateboarders to deal with that kind of stuff.
Joe's witnessed me hit by a car too.
Oh, that the Canberra one?
Yeah, that
So
was
what-
probably way worse.
So that was the first one.
That was the first one. Yeah.
The second one.
That's the only one I was
Tell us about the second one.
The second one was pretty wild, I reckon. This one was pretty more more dangerous, I guess.
Yep.
But like so I was skating this like rail that I like I don't know, came across it somehow on like Instagram or something and I was like, wow, like I'd love to try a trick there. Hadn't been there before, but I teed up a filmer up there, and I was just like, all right, let's try and get this trick. And like, it was pretty late in the afternoon. I was just like, I got there and I was like, wow, this rail's massive. Like, I was like, okay, like, what have I got myself into? Like, it's pretty high, it's long, stairs are big. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, I'll do it. So like, I just like started warming up and like I was like, I had a guy out on the road and he was just going to watch for cars. So like, you land and then you're straight onto a road.
Yeah, so he was spotting you.
He was spotting me. And yeah, so you got to skate it pretty fast. So like I started going for it and I was just trying to backboard, and like my first few attempts I was like, yeah, I'm chilling, like I got this.
Backside lip slide.
No, just a backside board slide.
Oh, just
that was just like the first trick that I was trying, and I was just like, all right, let's start here, like
feel it out.
And yeah, like I stomped like maybe the first 3 tries I stomped it. And I was like, it's on. And then like, I think the 4th try, like I was really close, but like I lost my balance on like coming off the gutter. And I was like, all right, like, and I was like charged with adrenaline at this point. And like my homie's like got like watching the road or whatever. And then like, all right, I'm like, all right. He's like, give me the thumbs up. I'm like, I'm good to go. So like I take off and like, I'm, going pretty fast. And like, I'm guessing he just started watching me. And like this car started coming down the road, and like it was literally just timed so well.
Right.
And I did the rail and then rolled away. And as I went off the gutter, like my backside, like kind of like I had to like roll out of it so I wouldn't fall off. So I was so blind to this car that was coming, I didn't even know. And then I just went whack, and I hit the
side of it,
the side of his door. And like it was like, you have to see the footage to understand. Like it was so loud, and like. Yeah. My knee broke his blinker off. I put
the mirror come off?
It's like the front side.
The driver side.
Yeah, driver door.
Yeah.
Actual driver door.
Hit the driver door.
You said it broke the blinker off.
Yeah, so those little blinkers that down like above the tyre in some cars? Yeah, so my knee like smashed that out. I put like a huge dent in his, like in the corner of his door.
Poor guy.
Which was my hip. Yeah, poor guy, man. My hip, and then like and then I just like bounced off his car, and like I ended up just on the ground, and like I was still like backside when I hit it, so I didn't even know what I'd hit, and I just picked up my board, and everyone was just like, whoa. Like, and I was just like still just like, oh, like what did I hit? Like,
yeah.
And I grabbed my board and just was like, realized there was a car there, and I was like, holy shit, I've hit a car. Right. And I was like checked myself, and I was like, I'm fine. I was like, I feel fine. Like I felt like that was less bad than falling down the stairs. So like
did he stop?
He stopped, yeah.
Was your friend checking his phone?
Getting an Instagram upload.
I don't know. It was. He wasn't.
He felt so bad, and like
he wasn't.
We're still good friends. Like I don't know. Like
let's just say he wasn't. He would. Yeah, he knows you. Yeah.
I think he was checking the road, and then when you hopped on the rail, he was watching you. And then
his focus just came to me or something, and like, and it's all good. Like I don't care. Yeah. I'm alive, and like I would never like badmouth him. I would never badmouth anyone about stuff like that. It happens. We're skaters.
We're skaters. Like, he was actually.
I know what I'm getting.
He was
myself
trying to help
into.
you in the first place. Like,
exactly.
You didn't have to do that rail.
Exactly.
So did the guy in the car stop?
He did stop, and I feel terrible for this actually, but he was like, I don't know, he would have been like, I would say in his early 50s, and he was freaked out. Like, he was probably more rattled than I was in a way, and he was just like, oh my God. He's like, and he was stopped in the middle of the road, and other cars started coming up behind him, and he was just like, are you okay? He's like, and he's like, how's your back? And I'm just like, my back. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And I'm just like, at this point, I'd not even seen what had happened to his car. So we were just like,
until we drove off.
Yeah, I was like, it's all good, man. I was just like, like, I'm actually fine. I was just like, showed him like that I'm cool. Yeah. And I was just like, don't worry about it, mate. Like, are you okay? And like, I shook his hand, and I was like, that's my bad. Like, I didn't even know you were there, and like, I've come out and hit you, and like, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. And he's like, no. Like, I should have been paying more attention. I was just like, well, like,
I wonder legally, like, what happened.
I don't know. And the funny thing,
he knew.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he knew something that I didn't know.
He didn't try to get you for damage.
Nothing. And the
He was
funny
gone.
thing was, a
He was
copper
gone.
drove past literally 5 minutes before this happened. And he was like staring at us all, and like he'd seen one of my attempts, and he was just like, whatever, kept driving. And I was just like, cool, cop's cool with it. I'm cool with it. Let's do it. And then that happened, like the copper would have only just been going up around the corner. And then like, yeah, this guy just like, yeah, shut the door and he was out of there.
Yeah.
And the guy that was filming like filmed him drive off, and then like we started watching back the footage, and then they were like, did you see his door? And I was just like, what do you mean? They're just like, man, his door's so bad. And I was just like, really?
Had a human-sized
yeah.
dent in it.
At least I'm a small human. And then like we watched back the footage, and I was just like, holy fuck.
You're so lucky, dude.
Yeah. I was just like, damn.
Well, that's if you see that footage, you landed and went to the left.
Yeah, I'll show
it
you.
was
It's on my
sketchy.
phone. I'll show you. You can have a look. And
Yeah.
If you landed it
That's pretty
clean,
funny.
and if you rolled
Send it to
straight,
me.
you would have been in front of the car, and he would have hit you. You would.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So the way, like, yeah, the way
He
it
was
played
so
out for
lucky.
all of us. Yeah, if I'd rolled away from the trick cleaner,
and straight.
I would have been
Yeah.
in a worse spot, and he would have like broken my knees, I guess.
Like you would have went under the wheel.
I would have went under him, definitely.
Yeah, he would have been right in front of.
Whereas because I leaned away from his car, we kind of like sort of like connected on a sideways
Yeah.
collision,
Yeah.
and it was all good.
So gnarly. It's all
Dude,
good.
You're so lucky.
Oh, so lucky. Didn't try any other tricks.
So you've
I was
got
done.
you've got that on footage.
Yeah.
And the near drowning you have on footage as well.
I deleted that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too traumatic?
Very traumatic. Yeah. Especially like some of the sounds I was making,
Yeah. Understand.
like
yeah.
drowning sounds, like I'd never heard. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was pretty dark.
Yeah, my friend was talking to someone recently who almost died, and actually almost OD'd actually on some terrible drug called fentanyl, and then he basically was pronounced dead, and then came back from that, and then my friend had spoken to him about the experience, and he said that he literally was like, he seen the light. You know, he could see he was going to this other place. He
My
was
God.
calm, he was
Jeez.
calm, he was peaceful, and then had like a choice, like if you want to come back, and he's like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm done yet, but it looks way better over there.
Jesus.
Go back to the
I
party.
know it's deep and heavy, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like gnarly. And he said it was so intriguing, you know, and my friend said to him, like, well, what are you going to change about your life now that you're back? And he's like, he goes, well, one, he goes, I'm just going to live literally every day as if it's my last. Two, I'm not going to stress about things like money or possessions. And three, he says something like, and if someone asks me to go on an adventure, like, or a trip or a traveling mission, I'm just going to do it.
That's
I'm
rad.
not going to say no to much, you know.
Yeah.
And also, the guy was a drug addict, and now he's completely clean, and it just, he will never touch it again.
See, that's
Yeah. That's sick.
So I don't
It
know.
takes that sometimes, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to your stories, and I'm like, you know, like it reminds me how precarious this existence is, and it can change on a dime.
can be taken so easily, and it's like you don't even know it's coming at all.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. I mean, you don't know when the great white's going to be right there.
And you're always having the best time.
Never the best.
Be careful when you have a good time. It's dangerous.
I don't know if that's a good time. Someone with great whites.
Yeah, but I love that story about how, like you said, that it's much deeper there. I experienced real depth. I went on a surf trip in Micronesia to a place called Palika Pass or Palika Ponape in Micronesia. Amazing, and there's this amazing right-hander there called P Pass or Palika Pass. It's an epic right-hander, Pacific Ocean swells, and it's like a reef pass, and it's this channel, so it breaks on the reef, but there's a channel there.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're at shallow reef, surfing on a shallow reef, but then the channel drops off. And in Micronesia, they have some of the highest rainfall in the world. And so the ocean in the area has a lot of fresh water from the rain.
Yeah, I know the
So
feeling.
the water is like, it's super clear, like it's crystal clear. So you paddle across this pass, and, you know, sometimes we'd swim. We went snorkeling a few days and would swim down and look, and you could see so far down, and it's like this abyss. It's like looking into outer space, like so deep. And then you see shadows, and like it's like apparently a kilometre or so deep, this reef pass. it really makes you feel small. And you swim across that or snorkel in it, and you feel so vulnerable, but then you feel so free, you know. It's crazy.
It's a mad feeling, hey?
It's just underwater world, you know. And when I think the world's, 70% water?
That's scary.
You know,
Yeah.
like when you think most of our Earth, most of it's beneath the surface. Yeah. Isn't it trippy? And we live on this little part of it on top.
Dude.
So much going on beneath us and above us.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So anyway, so listen, I want to go back to skateboarding a little bit. I've got a few questions. You both work in skate shops.
I'm Leon's boss.
Here we go. Here we go.
So you're the manager. You're the manager of a skate shop.
Correct. Yes.
And Leon's like your employee.
Minion.
Guess I'm his little minion then.
Minion, who's like 6. How tall are you? Like 6'2"?
Some massive minion.
Yeah, 6 something. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, like you've definitely grown up since I was seen you. Like,
I would have been tall back then, but
you were
not
tall
this
back
tall.
then,
Yeah,
but now you're like you've filled out and stuff.
thick.
Yeah. Do you work out? You must work out
A little bit.
a little bit. But so you guys work in a skate shop. Like what boards what are the brands that the kids are going for these days?
Ooh, that's pretty tricky. I feel like some of the older brands I find are coming back. Like you get a lot of kids coming in, they want the Baker board, they want the...
I love how you call them older brands.
Yeah, sorry, I know.
Yeah.
No, but they kind of are.
Yeah, like,
OG.
you know, like from my era, I guess like Baker would be an older board to me. Like,
Yeah.
even like,
A lot of people like blind boards still.
yeah,
Like
blind
the young
great.
fellas are coming in for blind boards.
We were talking about that the other night. Like, I mean, I used to love
Oh, yeah.
Blind as a kid. It was like my favourite company. Like Mark Gonzalez, Jason Lee, Rudy Johnson, like all these, Blind Moreno, like all the OGs. But then it sort of went on this weird tangent. But then, like, now they're back and their boards are cheap.
Oh, dude.
They're-
Yeah,
looks-
that's what we
they're
were trying to
so
figure
good. They're
out.
like half the price. And I go, why are they so cheap? And then I'm like, are they cheap because they've been made cheap and they're made shitty? But they
No.
don't. But they're not.
No, they're good.
I ride
So
them,
what's
they're
the deal?
great.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
No idea.
They're doing something smart. They got their own
they're like
forest.
$60 to $80. They're like retailing full price.
Yeah, right.
And then an average board is like $120 to $140.
Yeah.
So that's like half the price right there.
Yeah.
And they're solid, they're good concave, good shape, like hardwood.
Yeah, they are.
I think Marlon was saying they're single pressed as well. So like they're all the
Exactly the
exact same
same.
concave and shape. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really a bit clueless. Like, can you explain the difference between a single press and a multi-press board?
I guess it depends on the actual press. So they get the flat wood.
Yeah.
And how the board is pressed, how the concave and everything is made on it.
In the
So-
one mold.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, basically they'll press like one individual sheet of ply, like 7 sheets of ply or whatever. They glue it all up and then they'll press that one board
In the mold.
in the
Yeah.
mold.
So it's a single.
But other brands or other wood factories would press like up to 5 boards
In the one mold.
In the
Yep.
one mold, so that
So that
there's a
means-
mixture of like depth of concave and
yeah,
stuff
so
there.
that's not all consistent in a way.
exactly. Yeah.
And I wonder if, so like the boards in the middle are going to have a slightly different concave.
Well, yeah,
to
number
the
1 and
boards
number
on the
5.
outside.
Yeah, that's
Way
right. They
different.
mark the board, and you can stand on the boards, and you can kind of feel the difference
Or is that
in
a
the same
smart way?
brand.
Because you know how some people don't like concave, so it's like they've got
Yeah.
a variety of concave. So you know how like Baker have those all flat concave
Yeah,
boards?
I feel like I see where you're coming from, but I think at the same time, people that like a mellow board, they're still too steep. Even like the most mellow in that
Yeah.
5. You know what I mean? Like the single press one is exactly that, and then you can get a single press mellow one. So it's like,
okay.
so there's the two varies. Yeah.
It just feels like it would be pressed better as well.
Yeah, I
Single?
feel like there's more weight on it,
Yeah,
right?
Weight,
as a
yeah.
single, yeah.
Yeah, it's going
I
to
would
be
think
more
so.
stiff, more pop.
Yeah,
That's how I treat it.
it's crazy.
I've tried different press levels though, because I ride anti-hero boards, and they do the 5 press, and it has a little tally on the top of the deck to show you if you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So I've ridden a 1 and a 3 and a 5, and I don't exactly feel the difference between them.
Right.
So I don't know if it makes that much difference, but I go through boards a lot, so I'm changing boards a lot.
Is that because you snap a lot?
Yep,
Big bone.
I was saying this the other
100,
night.
100 kilo
Are you 100,
skateboarder.
are you 100
Yeah.
kg? See, I love watching big dudes skate, especially like people like you who skate really good.
Thank you.
There's something about it. It just looks sick. Like it, yeah. Like
Hey.
like Brian like I used to love watching.
he's a big fella too.
Brian Anderson back in the day, and Jason Lee. Like he's
Yeah.
probably 6'2", like back in the day, and it just something about it looks really special.
Seeing Leon balance on a rail is the coolest thing. He's like,
What did he say?
I've been skating with him for like how long now? Like
I think
10 years, maybe more.
probably more. I think I was like 14 when I met you.
Yeah. So like so
15
long.
years.
And whenever he crooks a long flat bar, I'm just like watching, just like, wow.
You
So sick.
I think I was talking to Davey about this last night at the park. He was saying the same thing. And I was like, because I'm a bigger dude, in a way, do I have a better center of gravity? Remember when Jamie Foy come out on the scene and he had the perfect rail balance? When he first came out, he was like chunky. He wasn't very tall, but he was heavy. And he could lock in and just hold his grinds really long.
I totally believe that.
So I was wondering if I had the same effect, because I'm tall, like I'm pretty heavy, if I have a good center of gravity so I can balance
Your
better.
weight carries you. 'Cause
Yeah.
Remember we were skating a spot the other day and like this spot was like made of bricks and stuff
yeah.
and like I was struggling to grind it because like I'm just so light and I'd just like glide across it basically. But Leon would like lock in and just like carry through it. I was like, how are you doing that? I'm like, what am I shitty at skating or something? This guy.
It's just
So cool.
different superpowers.
Yeah, fully.
Andrew Reynolds talks about that in interviews. Like every skater's got this superpower. Like he
Yeah.
talks
Yeah.
about his frontside kickflip is his superpower.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
I think flat rails. He was like
Definitely, yeah.
You love a flat rail, don't you?
Yeah, that'll be my favorite thing to
But
skate.
I think, am I right or wrong in saying this? You love a round flat
yeah,
rail.
so flat, this is a good
Rail
question.
skaters, mate. We all
All
are
the
round
time.
bar.
I get this debate all the time. When I say flat bar, I mean like a flat ground rail.
That's round.
And a round rail is like a true flat bar.
Thank you.
But when I say flat bar, people argue and they're like, it's not even flat, it's round, you idiot. Like people think when I say flat bar, I mean square, like a square flat bar. It's a different thing. A square flat bar is just like a really thin ledge.
What do you find harder to lock into?
Well, it depends on what tricks you're doing.
Square.
Like if you're doing a front feeble or...
Harder.
Yeah.
Harder for more tricks.
Is that because it's less forgiving? Whereas like a round
No,
one.
because it pinches harder.
Yeah, it's more like a ledge
harsh.
almost.
It's a harsher angle.
Okay.
So if you're trying to feeble, you really have to have your board on the side.
You have to ollie into it more perfect.
Yeah.
Whereas on a round flat bar, you can ollie into it and correct it. Jamie Foy explains this really well too. Like,
there you go.
ollie into a front 50 and roll your heels up. And it's just like you're perfectly locked in.
What do you mean? All into a front 50?
Like weight on your
Yeah, so
heels.
weight on your heels and it'll just butt up against your wheel and then you're in and then it's like, it's just a matter of confidence.
It's funny, I heard Ishod say it in an interview too,
Yeah.
when you do 50-50s on round rails, like your back truck is kind of like slightly off one side and your front truck is off to the other side. So
Yeah, that's the cross lock.
the cross lock.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I noticed. That's what you.
That's
do.
what I do.
Yeah.
Some people say it's the weaker way to 50-50 rail.
Wow, like just makes sense.
It's safe. It's definitely easier, and it's safer.
So when you actually do ollie onto a rail, you're actually thinking about a cross lock, like you're you're slightly pushing 1 foot one way and 1 foot the other.
With a backside 50-50, I tweak it as if it's like a feeble. So both of my trucks are on opposite sides.
Yeah.
But when I do front side, I'm doing the heel lock, like double heel lock. So both of my trucks are on the heel side, like hard up against it.
Okay, cool. Like even on a ledge, you think like that?
Oh, ledge is different. You're going hard up either way.
Okay.
Because there's no like top balancing point on a ledge.
Okay.
Because it's flat.
Yeah.
That's why square rails are different. Because it's flat on top.
This is so interesting. It's good.
So much goes into it.
No, it's good. Like, and that's what's so good about skateboarding because there's so many layers that people don't even see or consider. It's the best.
Sometimes it's too much though.
The most important thing is just confidence.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's too much. Like you can overthink it.
Oh, like the debates of this stuff. Like people get too heated about it.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't.
I think you just got to go out and skate sometimes and just be confident with it and just have fun.
How do you find confidence in skateboarding?
Doing it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of practice.
I knew you were going to say that.
Just skate as much as you can.
Repetition.
You skate every day now.
I almost try to skate every day if I can. I'll take like breaks in here and there, but like I'll try and get at least like maybe 2 or 3 hours skate in every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Dude, but you work as well.
Yeah, that's all right though. We all work and then we go home and like all go, what do you do after work? You go
Just
do
chilling.
something.
What about time with your girlfriend?
We skate together.
She likes to skate too.
See, I got you. I got you. She skates?
She roller skates.
I know. I was hoping you were going to expose that. I reckon
She's so good.
I've seen some of her clips. They're rad.
Where you
She
going?
embarrasses me every time we go to the skate park.
No
She
way.
rips and I'm just like, damn, I got to try harder.
But what if she was rollerblading? What's worse, rollerblading?
I think roller skating just suits her style.
I think roller skating's rad.
Yeah.
It
I never
looks-
thought about the
I think
difference between that.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's something about it to me personally, like aesthetically, I love watching a roller skater.
Mm.
And I seen this sick roller skater the other day, and that even like in between their wheels, they got like a little grind pad rail thing.
Oh yeah, she's got that.
Have you got
Joe
that?
got that.
So sick. But then,
It's like a truck.
but then I see a rollerblader.
A block.
I see a rollerblader, and I'm like, nothing against rollerbladers. Like I'm all
Yeah.
for people doing what they want to do, but aesthetically, it doesn't appeal.
It's
to
about
me.
style too. See, you know, without talking shit on them, they don't look as good. A big boot like that.
That's your opinion.
That's my opinion. Yes.
Fruit boot.
Yes. So like, you put that in my
I haven't
mouth.
heard that for a while.
But like,
See,
you know, like,
I'm going to cop shit for that statement. but-
nah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So basically, I see a roller skate. So like, I like the sound of skates. Like Joe rides Spitfire wheels.
Because they sound like skateboard.
They
wheels.
sound like skateboard wheels already.
Yeah.
She's got like penny chucks on it. So like, it's already like more so skateboarding in my eyes.
Yeah.
So like I'm drawn to it naturally. But then before that, like, and I thought about it and I was just like, why do I not like rollerblades? It's something to do with the wheels and how they look. That is what it is for me. It's nothing to do with like what they do, the people they are. Like I've gotten along with heaps of rollerbladers. I have no problem with that. I just like they've got like no emotion in the way they sound.
Yeah.
Like their wheels are crappy and the grind's silent and like they do crazy tricks, but I'm just like, man, where's the noise? Like skateboarding's noise to me. Love it.
You do love it. He has the crustiest bearings.
That's why sometimes, like, I mean, that's why I love being in the streets compared to like a perfectly polished skate park.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes, like, I really crave that raw ground or that, you know, bumpy ground with like, just feels better under the feet or something. Sometimes when a skate park's too perfect, I don't know.
It's more of being an outcast of that like rebellious sound of like smashing down a quiet street and all you hear is a skateboard and everyone looks and they're just like, what is that? And I don't know. I love the reaction.
It's addictive.
You know, and then you got to be respectful too. Like, don't just be disrespectful with it. But like, I feel like you get mostly good reactions most of the time.
I think nowadays you do. I just feel like when I'm in the streets, there's more creativity being bred or something.
Oh, yes.
I feel more creative, and like you said, you're dealing with so many different elements. You're dealing with a little crack right where you need to ollie. You're dealing with pedestrians, police, cars,
Security is right there.
It's the reason I love street skating. I would hands down street skate forever and have no skate parks ever if I had the choice because I feel like, you know, you could do a million crooked grinds at a skate park. You go do one street crooked grind at some spot and it's so much harder. And like people that will watch it will be like, oh yeah, cool. But then they'll go to that spot and they'll be like, oh my God, what? Like there's a crack here and there's like, it's not grinding. Like why isn't it grind? And all that.
And then it's like, I also think like you can compose, like let's say you're with a photographer or a filmer, you know, all of a sudden you're composing a trick. You're like, hey, I want to try and do this here because in the backdrop there's this cool church or there's a rad tree. You know what I mean? You're thinking like that, like you're actually utilising the urban environment.
You're thinking about the spot.
To compose an artwork, really.
Creativity.
It's a photo and it's so much more than just the trick. And then it's the relationship with the photographer or the filmer.
Correct.
And then there's bonding over that. And
we're all in it for like the love in that sense.
I was just thinking, you know how you said like if a security guard comes at you with aggression, like you're more likely to be aggressive?
Yeah, that's how definitely it helps you react. If they're nice, that's how you treat them. If they're an asshole, that's what comes out of you.
Yeah, I agree. Like I got harassed by a policeman the other day. I got pulled over on a freeway. He said I was driving in the right lane for too long. And so I'm driving, and to be honest, like I was in the right lane because I had my car on cruise control, doing the speed limit.
Yeah.
But I was still passing cars. But because I was on cruise control, I was passing them slowly within the speed limit because I didn't want to speed. So next thing, these lights are going. He's like, pull over. So I pull over, and I'm just like. And I think it's years of experience of dealing with security guards and police from skateboarding. He just come over going, you were in the right lane for like 5 kilometres and you shouldn't be in the right lane. Like, like really going at me
Yeah.
and like wanting me to respond, like trying to get a reaction out of me. But
You're lucky
it was
you
kind of
didn't,
like, I'm
yeah.
too smart for you, dickhead. And I just was like, yes, officer, no, officer. Like I
sir.
didn't say a word. And then he's got my ID in the car, and it was like 20 minutes checking out my stuff.
And they're taking their time on purpose.
Yeah, and like it's funny because my son was about to get an operation. I had to be at the operation. I was like sitting there just losing my mind, going, I'm going to be late. But anyway, he comes back to the car and he's like, read this screen. He pulls out his little computer and it says, fine for sitting in the right lane for too long is $362. And he's like, read that to me, like that. And I just like, I read it to him like, you know, like a puppet. And he's like, and so today I'm gonna give you a warning. I'm like, like but it's funny. Again, I just was like, you fucking arsehole.
Just power tripping, eh?
Power tripping, but again, like, you know, and this is, I guess, a message I want to send is like, yeah, just don't react, you know. 'Cause
Be calm.
Yeah.
be calm, keep you cool, let them be a dickhead. And I think he was surprised that I didn't react, and he just couldn't give me a fine, you know.
That's good. He was trying to push you and you just held it together.
Yeah, that's just...
It's harder to do that than to get angry.
But did you know that was a law? You can't drive in the
I had
right-
no idea.
You see it.
No
I've seen
idea.
the sign saying keep left unless you're overtaking, but I haven't heard anyone getting fined about that.
No.
I know. And I was...
What, does he
was
want you to speed though?
That's what I mean. Like, I was so paranoid about speeding. Like,
Yeah.
I've actually... Yeah. So anyway, just a story for you.
It's interesting.
Whew. So anyway, how are we feeling? How you feeling?
I feel great.
Good.
Thank you for the water.
Feeling good.
So nice.
Thank you. Do you guys
The
want another
water.
drink or a beer or something?
No, I'm good. Got me water.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, it's been epic. Like, far out. Those stories. Those stories were different to the first podcast.
Yeah.
You're a bit more opened up now.
I
had to go
I
with
had
him?
one beer, guys. I'll chat away now.
That's all he needed.
Oh,
I don't drink much.
I was just sitting,
One beer gets me.
me and Leon were just sitting here going, oh, with this guy, shut
He's
up.
still going.
With this guy, shut up with the near-death experience stories. Like, oh, boo-hoo.
That's good to hear.
Just kidding, man. Now, listen, man, I ask all guests to come to the podcast with a cause they want to support or advocate for. So what do you got for us?
So the Ben Ramers Foundation.
And what's that about?
Basically, it's about suicide awareness. Ben Ramers was a pro skater from the UK. Basically, had everything in my eyes, I thought. And, he experienced a pretty bad mental battle, I'd say. And he was the same age as me, and I was going through a bad time at the same time he lost his life. And since then, I've skated his shoe because I love his shoes. And I was just like, I loved his skating. He seemed like such a good dude. And like, I was like, damn, like, I got to back that for sure.
It was a hard loss, that one.
For sure.
Nah, thanks, man. It's a good one. I love it. Yeah. What about you, Leon? You got anything? Put you on the spot.
So blank.
Come on, man.
So
Just
blank.
the other day, I was like, I'm glad he didn't ask me because I had nothing. So let's just keep it moving from
I
here.
seen you with a blank look on your face. And I was
I'm
like,
going to back the same thing.
just reminds me of school days. Like, Leon, do your work. And
Come on,
Picking on me all the time.
You're blanking out.
He's like that at work.
Do your fucking work.
Thinking about skating all the time. That's why.
Yeah.
When we're working together, we're always
Like, hey,
watching
Leon,
skate
there's a
videos.
customer.
Can we go?
Really, after all these years, like, you're in
What's
your, like, you're still thinking about skating every day.
I think I'm more into it now than ever.
Yes. Well, you're in your prime, I reckon. How
I'm
old are you?
29 now.
And you're how old, Ben? 30.
32.
Dude, I think this is strong. This is like your body's getting stronger and stronger. Like you've got years in you. It's so good.
I hope so.
It's cool. Yeah,
Just got to take
love it.
care of yourself.
I think that's the key, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Are you about that?
Trying to recover a lot better, or I'm smarter with like the way I'm warming up before I skate. Or even like if we're going to skate a spot in a few weeks' time, I'm going to be practicing like lower things or like the same trick on smaller rails to build myself up to that. Like I'm different to him. I can't just go to a spot and just chuck myself at it.
Right.
But that might be the confidence. Like he knows he can do it. I'm like, I don't know. And then if you hesitate and you pop wrong or something, you're going to get more hurt.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I don't really try things unless I know I'm confident to put every little bit of effort into it. Like you can't half-ass like a big handrail or stairs or something.
Yeah.
That's where you get more hurt.
Full commitment.
Yeah.
Eh? Yeah, you have to.
But you have to believe that you're going to do it too. You can't just be like, I'm going to try this. Nope, you're going to get hurt.
But like to establish that mental prowess, it takes years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's like when I see these older skaters ripping, it's like I almost see them as masters now.
Yeah.
Because their bodies aren't working as well, so they have to use their mind more to
Yeah.
protect themselves and make it happen. And they've established that from repetition.
Yeah, definitely.
Commitment, years and years, and it's all locked in there. So it's like an artist building up to their perfect artwork, you know.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
So cool, man.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So what's in the works, boys? Any skate vids? You making any movies?
I'm trying to film my first street part this year.
Yo.
After a long time, I realised I've just been skating skate parks forever. Like everyone around me. Yeah, everyone around me.
I was getting up him.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. You're so good. Get out of the skate park.
I never even saw it. I just saw skateboarding as skateboarding, and I'll go and skate, and that was it.
He's changed now.
Yeah,
He's
heaps.
a full street dog.
It's not full,
Heaps
but
better.
like I'm getting there.
Gets
even now, like-
gets angry too now.
Do you throw your board, Leon?
No,
Not that type of angry. Just more frustrated.
I get more angry at myself.
Yeah.
Like if I go to a spot and I know I can do it, but I'm stopping myself from trying it because I'm scared, I get angry that I can't physically bring myself to try something when I know I can do it.
Yeah.
And I know I'm the one stopping me, and it's hard to like snap out of that and do it.
Gotcha.
So that's what I mean by like I can't go to a spot and just jump on it.
You get scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big. When he falls, big.
Oh, I fall hard.
yeah.
Big boy falls hard, man.
I fell twice last night and they weren't even hard, and now my back's aching all day.
Yeah.
Too heavy for this game.
Yeah, it's funny, like, because I wonder I always think about, like, because I'm 45 and I'm still really loving skating,
Still young.
but never had I had a bit of a bad ankle for a few years there, had 2 surgeries, but for the most part, I haven't had anything that's sort of really ended my skateboarding, and I think a lot of it is contributed to being, like, low centre of gravity, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that high off the ground. I'm shorter. I don't think I'm that short. I'm about the same height, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
And being light must make a difference to the
Yeah.
impact on the copying. You know,
It would. It definitely does.
Yeah.
Like if I bail down a set of stairs and I just land on my feet, I'm like, oh shit. Like I can feel that in my knees, in my back, and my ankles. Like I need to learn how to fall and roll right to take the impact away from that.
But I've seen you fall, and you roll.
That's the thing, yeah, you gotta roll.
good. You roll well.
Like you can't just
Come
splat.
on,
You got to
roll.
like fully roll into it.
You roll. You know how to roll.
It like depresses like the angle that you're coming at, and the impact's not as hard.
Yeah.
But that still hurts. But
Yeah,
it doesn't
it does.
hurt as much as just like landing and squatting and like bending your knees weirdly.
Some people fall so hard, man. Yeah.
Falling's so important to know.
It
how
is.
Yeah, you need to learn. It sounds so stupid. When the new guys come in to get new boards from us and like they just start skating and we try and give them some tips, like it sounds so stupid, but you need to learn how to fall.
Yeah.
Like even just
Skate
roll
it.
onto the ground.
Yeah,
on the,
skate
like,
at some grass and
yeah.
just send it off it.
They look at us so stupidly.
Yeah.
Like you need to learn how to fall and roll, or just know that it's not gonna like you're not gonna break your leg by
It's a
falling
trick.
onto the grass.
It's the
is a
first
trick.
trick you should
Yeah.
learn.
Really, it is.
Yeah.
Like ninja. You gotta be
Yeah.
like a ninja.
Yeah.
I just think skateboarding it toughens you up in so many ways. Like,
Definitely does.
yeah, it's funny, like, because I surf as well. I used to be so scared of heavy wipeouts because I used to think that it was like skateboarding. I was like, oh well, like, you know, that's gonna really hurt, you know. But then, like, now I've had some heavy wipeouts over the
Chilling.
years. I'm like, aside from the getting held under the water
Yeah.
factor, it's actually pretty mellow. And then there's times where you do bounce off the reef, but you learn how to fall properly. And even when you do, it's very rare that you hit the reef hard. You'll just kiss it often. And yeah, so yeah, it's good. It's good, man.
Just learning process the whole time.
You never stop learning, Leon.
Never.
Good. It's good. Well, listen, you can find this episode at terriblehappytalks.com, and it's on all the major platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio, and whatever platform you listen on. Just make sure you follow and or subscribe, and leave a review. And I was talking to the boys earlier, like, you know, I spend a lot of time wondering if I'm doing things the right way, and if there's anything you want me to change or you're interested in, just hit me up on a DM and give me some feedback or a review. And yeah, I'm open, man. I'm open. So I think that's about it. Yeah. Anything you want to end on? Anything profound, boys?
Damn, I don't know. I've learnt a lot so far.
Have you? Yeah,
It's easy to be kind. Be kind, everybody.
I can feel it. You're a kind dude.
Thank
I
you.
can see. Actually, why do you think you're kind? Is it just in your nature?
I think I get it from
Good question.
both of my parents, I would say.
Are they kind people?
Yeah, I think they're pretty kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a good relationship with them?
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
yeah, love them both.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's nice, man. It's a nice.
Learning how to deal with everyone in a different way.
Yeah.
I think is an important thing.
Just
like everyone's
be-
going
yeah.
through shit.
Be understanding.
Yeah.
We're all got our own thing.
Yeah.
Don't be mad. They're mad because they've got something going on. Don't be mad back at them.
Don't be mad.
Unless there's security coming at you. Let me get my trick, mate. Just
Security.
give me a minute.
Fuck security.
10
man.
more minutes.
Fuck 'em.
Please.
Let
one
us
more
get the
try.
clip and then
One
we're
shot.
out.
Or just be a pro skater in America and just pay them. Bribe time.
We ain't got that kind of money.
When you got that money, that Niger money. Ew.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mr. Ben Watts and Leon Paxton, everybody.
Thank you.
Ew. I'm going to funky outro. Now we'll go to the real outro. Let's go. Ew.